You ask an AI a simple question, and it hands you a textbook. Neat. Why is the smartest technology so hard to talk to?
Yeah, that is the great irony of this whole tech cycle. We've managed to build these unbelievably powerful reasoning engines, yet we struggle to just have a normal, frictionless conversation with them.
Right. Well, welcome to this deep dive. I'm really glad you are here with us.
Me too.
We are looking at a brilliant guide today. It's all about how to fix Claude AI's communication style inside Claude Code.
Yeah, because raw intelligence is practically useless if you can't extract the insights cleanly. You end up, working for the AI instead of it working for you.
Exactly. So here is the roadmap for our journey today. First, we are going to separate the two core problems holding back daily AI use.
Which are the heavy jargon and the massive length.
Right. Then we will build a permanent foundation for clear language. And finally, we will introduce some on-demand shortcuts to tame those huge walls of text.
It's a highly practical framework. We are moving away from just complaining about the model. We are stepping into actual structural control over how it behaves.
So let's unpack that core misunderstanding first. I hear this complaint all the time from people using Opus 5. They say, Claude just talks way too much.
Yeah, everyone says that.
But the guide points out something fascinating. That complaint is actually two entirely different problems. They are just masquerading as one.
They get lumped together because the symptom feels exactly the same. You just feel overwhelmed.
Right.
But if you try to treat them as a single bug, you actually end up breaking the AI's ability to think. You really have to isolate the jargon from the link.
Let's look at the jargon problem first. Opus 5 is a genius-level model, but it constantly assumes you have an expert-level vocabulary.
Right, in whatever subject you bring up. It wants to demonstrate its technical competence. So it defaults to this incredibly dense academic language. It doesn't know how to casually chat by default.
The source gives this perfect, relatable example. Say you are looking at a business report. You ask Claude a really simple question. Our CRM open rate is 32%. Our open rate's basically fake now.
That is a totally normal question. You're just trying to get a quick gut check.
Exactly. You want a yes, a no, and maybe 2 sentences of context.
But Claude doesn't give you that. Instead, it hits you with heavy technical jargon. It says things like, an Apple Mail recipient with MPP on registers as an open.
Right.
And then it starts breaking down geo-device data derived from opens.
Which is technically accurate, sure, but it's completely misplaced. You asked for quick business advice.
Yeah, and it gave you a software engineering anatomy lesson.
It is like asking someone for the time, and they explain how to build a Swiss watch.
That is the perfect way to frame it. It's exhausting.
It literally gives you homework. You have to sit there and decode the AI's answer before you can actually do anything with it.
And that leads right into the second issue, the wall of text problem. Getting a 5-paragraph essay for a simple question has 2 major costs.
Time is the first one.
Yeah, you lose momentum in your workflow because you are reading a mini dissertation.
And the second cost is literal money. It wastes your tokens. Let's define that quickly. Tokens are small pieces of words an AI reads and writes.
Right. And every time Claude generates a massive wall of text, you are paying for those tokens through the API. So a rambling AI is literally draining your account balance.
While slowing you down.
Exactly.
Let me ask you this. Why do incredibly smart models like Opus 5 default to this dense, heavy jargon?
Well, it stems from trying to be technically precise. It assumes you already know the field. So it leads with complex mechanisms rather than the simple truth.
So it prioritizes technical precision over human readability. Got it.
Yeah, it fundamentally believes that precision equals helpfulness. It doesn't realize that for a human, clarity equals helpfulness.
Which brings us to the first major fix in the guide. The custom ELI5 output style.
This is where we rewire the foundation. Because if the AI naturally speaks in dense code...
Telling it to be shorter doesn't help.
Exactly. You just get shorter, dense code. We have to fix the foundational voice first.
We do that by defining an output style. An output style is the permanent writing voice the AI uses when replying.
Most people don't even know this exists. They just use whatever default personality the engineers shipped it with.
And that default style is formal. It leans super heavily toward technical completeness. The guide suggests intercepting that behavior.
Right. By creating a custom style, specifically an ELI5 style. Explain it first, roll.
Like, I'm 5.
I love this approach. But I have to admit, I still wrestle with prompt drift myself. My instructions just fade away.
It is incredibly frustrating, yeah. You spend all this time crafting perfect rules,
Mm-hmm.
and an hour later, the AI acts like it never met you.
Exactly. Prompt drift is when an AI forgets initial rules over a long chat. I used to put all my communication rules into a file called Claude.MD,
Right, for project rules.
but it just never stuck for very long.
The guide actually breaks down why that happens.
Yeah.
A Claude.MD file is excellent for project-level rules, like repository notes. But it gets loaded near the beginning of your session, and as you chat, you are stacking more text on top of it.
It is like your desk getting covered in new papers. Eventually, those foundational rules get buried. The model just drifts away from them. But an output style operates differently under the hood.
It sits much closer to the core operational instructions. It's a persistent layer that locks in the behavior.
Constantly reminding Claude how to speak on every single turn.
Let's get into the mechanics of this ELI5 style. The guide gives a very specific structural framework for it. You don't just say talk simply.
No, you give it a logical progression. First, lead with the key answer.
Right. Second, explain it in plain language. Third, give the next action.
Yeah. And fourth, only then do you add the technical details. You are forcing it to put the human takeaway at the very top.
So if we go back to our CRM example, with this ELI5 style active, Claude's response changes entirely. It starts with, that 32% is not all real people.
Boom. Instant clarity. The cognitive load just drops to zero.
Then it adds the context gently. It says, some email apps trigger opens automatically. You don't have to translate geo-device data anymore.
The AI is still doing the complex analysis. It is just delivering it in a human-compatible format.
There's an optional upgrade to this rule that I found absolutely fascinating. You can add a standard called ASD-STE100 to the prompt.
Simplified Technical English. It's a brilliant hack.
It originates from the aerospace industry, right?
Yeah, they created it so mechanics wouldn't misinterpret maintenance manuals. You really don't want a technician getting confused by vague verbs on a jet engine.
Definitely not.
So STE forces the use of a very constrained, approved vocabulary.
And applying this to AI acts as a rigid filter. It stops the agent from using ambiguous jargon.
It pairs beautifully with ELI5. ELI5 gives you the structure and tone. STE gives you the strict vocabulary constraints.
Why does using the exact phrase ELI5 work so effectively on an AI?
Well, because AI models have digested vast amounts of internet data. And in that data, ELI5 is a proven pattern for explaining hard topics simply.
It triggers a deep pattern of simple teaching in its training data.
Exactly. You are leveraging the collective teaching knowledge of the internet.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will tackle the second half of the equation. How to handle the massive wall of text. Mid-roll sponsor, Red Marker.
Oh.
Okay, we're back. We've established a solid foundation. The AI is now speaking in clear, plain English thanks to our ELI5 output style.
The jargon is gone. It finally sounds like a helpful human.
But now we face the length issue. We still have the wall of text problem. What happens when we actually need the AI to be brief?
The immediate instinct for most people is just to update their system prompt. They type in, always be concise, and think they fixed it.
Right, but the guide warns against this heavily. Let me ask you this. Why is it so dangerous to just put always be concise in the main system prompt?
Well, if you force an AI to be permanently brief, you actually cripple its intelligence.
How so?
Large language models think by generating tokens. They use step-by-step reasoning. So if you cap their output...
You are literally cutting off their cognitive process.
Exactly. They can't think through complex debugging or deep research anymore.
You keep the deep reasoning available, but hide it until you ask for it.
That's the secret. You need that deep reasoning to happen. You just don't want to read a novel every time.
So the solution here is skills. These are reusable shortcut commands that you call only when you need them.
Think of the output style as setting your car suspension to comfort for the whole road trip.
Okay.
The skills are like having a turbo button you press just when you need to pass a truck. They are temporary overrides.
Let's look at the first skill. The naming convention here made me laugh. It is called /bro. Just /BRO.
It is highly intuitive. You know exactly what that button does.
The command is incredibly simple. It tells the AI to restate its last message in plain human language.
You deploy this when Claude inevitably slips back into dense technical speech, because no matter how good your prompt is, an AI will occasionally revert.
So instead of getting frustrated, you just type /bro.
And the mechanism is brilliant. The AI looks at its own previous dense output. It runs that text through a simplification filter and hands you the translated version.
It's an emergency brake for technical density. Now, the second skill is called, wait, what?
This one is vital for complex workflows. It is focused on context, not just vocabulary.
You use this when you completely lose the thread of the conversation.
Yeah, maybe Claude jumped into writing a Python script way too fast.
Or it made an assumption about your database that you didn't catch. You're staring at the screen feeling totally lost. You just have, wait, what?
The skill forces Claude to stop and repitch the idea. It explains where we currently are and what the next step is.
Now, there's a crucial caveat from the source material here. You should never blindly copy other people's context skills.
Right. People find a cool script on GitHub and just paste it in, but that script might reference specific team documents that you don't actually have.
If you copy that, Claude will start hallucinating. You'll go looking for a PDF that simply doesn't exist on your hard drive.
So you have to ask Claude to adapt the wait what command specifically for your own workspace.
That grounds the explanation in your reality. Now, the third skill is definitely my favorite. It's the /quick command, /quick-n.
It is the ultimate compression tool.
It compresses the last answer into exactly n key points, and it explicitly ranks them by importance.
So if you're looking at a massive wall of text, you just type /quick3. The AI processes the whole essay and gives you the top 3 takeaways.
Or if you type /quick1, you bypass everything. You just get the single most important action item.
You let Claude write the full essay in the background. You let it do all that vital, deep reasoning.
And then you just extract the juice.
Right. You don't stop the thinking process. You just aggressively filter the final output.
Whoa. 2-sec silence. Imagine holding this exact control layer over every future AI model, bending it entirely to your workflow.
It is a profound shift in power dynamics.
Yeah.
You dictate the terms of engagement now.
It makes you the director of the intelligence, not just a passive passenger.
And as new models drop, you just lay this control framework over them. You tame them instantly.
Let's zoom out for a moment. This brings us to the big idea of this entire deep dive.
The underlying philosophy of human-AI interaction.
The guide makes a really salient point here. High benchmark scores do not equal good daily usability.
It is a massive blind spot in the tech industry right now. Everyone is obsessing over benchmarks.
We look at math scores and coding evaluations. Opus 5 crushes those objective tests.
But raw capability is meaningless if the communication style causes friction in your actual workday.
Friction is the enemy of adoption. If an AI gives you a mathematically perfect answer, but you need 10 minutes to decode it, the tool has failed you.
It becomes a net loss of productivity. You honestly would have been faster just doing the research yourself.
The human cost of extraction, that is the real metric we should be optimizing for.
Absolutely.
So the ultimate formula for daily AI work is this. Clarity belongs in your default output style.
That's your permanent ELI5 foundation.
And brevity belongs in your on-demand shortcuts.
Those are your transient skills, your /quick and /bro commands.
You fundamentally separate how the AI speaks from how much the AI speaks.
Applying that separation solves almost every frustration people have with these agents.
It requires a complete mental shift. You are engineering the communication layer, not just prompting for a task.
And as better models keep coming, they will always have bizarre quirks. But if you master this control layer, you are insulated from those quirks.
So here's our call to action for you today. Take 15 minutes, open up Claude Code, and set up an ELI5 style for your own workspace.
It is a tiny investment of time for a massive return.
Test it out. Notice how it dramatically changes your daily reading time.
You'll feel the cognitive load lift immediately. It is remarkably refreshing to just get a straight answer.
And remember to apply the framework. Always separate clarity from brevity.
Let the AI think deeply, but make it speak plainly.
I want to leave you with a final thought today. Something to ponder as these complex systems continue to evolve. Right now, we are spending all this effort to force AI to speak plainly to us.
We are imposing strict human limitations on its natural output.
Exactly. But what happens in a few years? What happens when these autonomous AI agents are communicating primarily directly with each other?
When humans are completely removed from the loop.
Will they develop their own hyperdense jargon? A language so compressed we can't even monitor it?
Yeah.
Or will they actually need their own internal ELI5 protocols just to keep their own operations running smoothly?
That is a terrifying and utterly fascinating question.
It really is. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Go set up those ELI5 rules, and we will catch you next time.